Good morning, students. Jai Hind. Uh, Today we are going to study regarding the struggle for women's equal rights. One thing before going to teaching, I have just sent already day before uh, syllabus for the coming the chapters coming in the your test. Okay, two chapters will be asked. One chapter from this book and the one chapter from your second book. Understand? Uh, okay, I have written the names of those chapters and you will prepare that. In history also, we have, I have sent two chapters now, chapter 3rd and 4th. Okay, the Mahabharat, the chapter which was dealt with the Mahabharata and the chapter which dealt with the Gautam Buddha, Mahavira and the Sanchi Stupa and the other structures. The two chapters we concentrate. Very easy for easy for you. Two chapters, and I suppose you all are the very happy. Uh, but you study very well. Understand the two chapters. Okay. So today we shall start the topic here: struggle for women's equal rights. Okay. Here we know that you know very well that for the thousands of years, for the centuries, women have been the subject to be the discrimination. No doubt, they have been the subject to be the discrimination or subject to be subject to be the deprived of their properties. They had no for the centuries had no the share in the rights as the because in our country there is a patrilineal means the estates and the property comes not to the daughters. She had no any rights or share in the property. Women said no, only the some because of our dharma sustra and the dharma shastra that now confined, and this dharma shastra according to that our social norms and the social rights were practiced. So now we see students that Dharma Shastra and the Dharma Sutra they have confined the women's right in our society. So for a very long time we are looking that how the women are struggling hard. Now in the Rig Vedic period, I have taught that women condition was very just and equal. They have the right in the taking part in the Sabha and Samiti. They had right they have right to choose their own life partners and own husbands. They were free to, and they had the sabha and samiti, or they equally participated along with their husbands in all the ceremonies, in all rituals. They had the very frequent life. They used to call as the duhita. Okay, they had the public life, but as the later Vedic and the later Vedic period, or the epics period, and then after the Purana, and during the Mahabharat period, or the Sutras time, but then gradually their life became the confined. And in medieval period, by the passage of the time, their entire rights were completely confined, or the confined, or they were subject to be the dismissal, and finally they were deprived of even from the studying the scriptures, holy books, from the they had been the also they had just we can say that now they were bounded in the only the four walls, secluded, only the secluded into in the four walls. Understand? And the one, and moreover, the division of work. Now they only had to be the take care of the household things and the bringing of the childrens, take care of the childrens and the household things there, and completely the outer activities was confined and the banned for them. Okay, so this kind of the restrictions was now put on the women's. Understand? And for the centuries, even then, as the modern period began, understand, and the voices raised for their equal rights. Okay, in the French Revolution began in 1789. What happens in the French Revolution? Women now participated in the modern age, and they now what soldier to soldier to soldier with men, and now in Parisians barricading, when they were barricading in Paris, they were equally participated and the barricading. But what happens as the Constitution 1791 being framed in the being framed, the what they did not get their equal rights. No, they have been the now the, we know very well that French people were divided. Although liberty, equality, and fraternity, these principles now sprang, and these principles later on became the guiding principles for the entire world. But within, it was just as the breakthrough breakthrough of the beginning of the civil rights. Understand? So where in the first civil rights women were deprived, they were now thrown into the passive citizen, not having the rights, and like the slaves and the third state. So we see here now women were the deprived there, but they had participated. Many women's organizations had been the operating an association in the France before the French Revolution. During the French Revolution, they participated. They work a lot for the men's, for the revolutions. But we see that, moreover, it was but right from there in the Frankfurt conference in Germany. What we have seen, the women participated. Women took the part in the revolution there, revolution. And when the constitution was being framed in the uh, Saint Paul, that Saint Paul, the very large number of the peoples gathered there at the Frankfurt. More than the 700 representatives were there. Women had also participated in the long march. But what the rights they got there? Now only these women had to stand. They were only the visitors from the gallery, and they and didn't allow in the participated in the proceedings. But the proceedings were going in the framing the new constitutions of the Germany. So now here we see that no, they had the no. Uh, so we see that and talk about the our so the biologically we see that here is a so under these impressions many movements went on in the different parts of the world. Women now participated, came ahead and participated or played the very vital role. Despite that, they had no any room or the any space and the position in the political, socio, or economic field. No, no at all. So now here we are going to study. So students, we shall see that a struggle for women's equal rights. How the struggle began. The first of all, before going the for the studying the struggle, we shall see biologically, and this is the very clear and evident that biologically and physically difference between the men and women are okay. This is the biologically and physically gender inequality is often treated as natural, and gender inequality is treated as natural despite although biologically and physically they differ, but the gender inequality is not natural. This is the wrong notion of the society. It is also supposed to be the natural. That physical, biological differences and the physical may be the natural, but this gender inequality can't be never be the natural. So this was considered and made the natural by our society. This is the articulated discrimination. And moreover, despite the appearance, scholars have shown that inequality between men and women are social rather than natural. This difference is the social difference. This is the rather than natural. Our scholars don't accept this. They say that this is the social. Discrimination is what? This is the social. Our society has fabricated this, articulated, fabricated these differences, and this is the thus rather than natural. As an example, we can see that there are no biological reasons that can explain why so few women are found in positions of the public power. Why? If this would have been the natural, and they were naturally weaker, so then the why should they have some of them are the at the very strong position in the public life, in the public jobs? Why they are? And moreover, public powers, and nor can natural explain why women generally receives a smaller or no share in the family property in most societies. They don't get their rights and the equal rights uh, equal rights in the property of their father's property. Why their most societies? But the strongest argument comes from the societies that were different from the normal and common pattern. If women were biologically unfit to be the inheritors, suppose that inheritors means the biologically they are they unfit to as a inheritors biologically, means to get the father's property. They are no, and the from the and the inheritors and the heads of the family, it is said that they are the weaker, they can't get the inheritance. But the we know we have a lot of we have lot of example that or the matri, matrilineal has been the practice in India. Matrilineal, and where the woman gets the rights, and they had the rights of inheritance. They had the right equal rights from their father in their father's property. They have right, and particularly in the matrilineal, the property came from father from mother to daughters, not from father to the son. And these under this matrilineal, this practice now for a thousands of years is going in some of the society. If women were biologically unfit, we have seen that. Moreover, the biologically unfit to be the inheritors, heads of family. How did matrilineal societies had the Nayars of Kerala? Kerala, you can take the example from the Kerala Nayars in the Kerala. They provide the inheritance right to their girls, their daughters. They get. Or similarly, you have studied already about that. About that the Khasi in Meghalaya is still patrilineal, and the women manage all the rights. They are given all the rights, and they manage all the households like the men. Like the men, they have the right there, which the men inherit property in the northern India. They practice. So the women got these rights only inherited these rights in the Meghalaya in Khasi society. So how can we say that naturally this is the natural that they are the weaker and they are not entitled to having inheritance rights? Or moreover, we can see that how have women managed to be the successful farmers about inequality. In the many of the African societies, we can see that they manage the farming in African society, or in the women or men, they now in the many society they hold and manage the business also. And moreover, gender gender is thus also a form of social inequality. It is what? It is not the natural inequality. It is the social inequality and exclusion, like the caste and class. You have studied in the caste and class how the lower classes were discriminated, excluded. The similarly, this is also a socially fabricated, socially fabricated the system and the norms which has been the created by our society. This has been the waved by our society against the women, against their rights. So this is the moreover, and now here we say that in the sections we have to gender inequality came to be the recognized as inequality in the Indian context, and here in our country this gender inequality is recognized by the our text, our Dharma Shastra and Dharma Sutras. This no doubt recognize these rights and more, and this kind of the responses that this recognize the and from there this gender inequalities have been the recognized that. So students, we are going to see here further. First, the women's question across the modern India as a part of 19th century middle class social reformers. Now, about the women's. Now here the two views. Now two views spread, and two views was here. The first views was that conservatives view, two streams of the thoughts now thoughts came in our society. First, first the first stream conservative stream, second stream liberals. So now in the liberals of the 19th century, and particularly from the Bengal, the movement, the reforms movement became very rampant from there. And we know that as the Raja Ram Mohan Rai has emerged, Raja Ram Mohan Rai started. So Renaissance started from the Bengal. We can say where now the environment, because of the printing press as the came, the printing press established uh, printing press. So where what happened? The because of the printing press, large scale of the tracts, written tracts, religious tracts began to be come into the market, and easily and the cheaply reach out to the common mans. And as a result, now this no doubt created a dash for debates between the conservatives and the progressives. So, because of the impact of the British in India, we can say, or because of British in India, a, uh, a debate was going between the and a debate platform on the debate platform, a hot discussion and the debated happened, and a hot discussion or debate happened, or because of that the new notions, the new thoughts, okay, the progressive thinkers like the Raja Ram Mohan Rai and the others, they tried to convince and persuade and a large number of the thinkers, socio-religious reformers, they were hugely impressed or the influenced by the Western thoughts, Western liberal thoughts, and they wanted the societal change, socio-economic, religious change in the society, and wanted to establish a progressive notion of the thinking, a progressive dictum in the society. So this was the that. Now middle class, particularly, the nature of these movements varied from region to region, the area or to area. They are often termed as the middle class reforms movement. Why? because this is the called middle class movement, because the reformers belong to the middle class family, understand, and they had upon them there was a big impact, a very much impact on their minds, the western education, western democratic patterns, western educations, and western they had seen the independence of the women there, and moreover they were often once inspired by the democratic ideals of the modern west, and by deep pride their own democratic traditions of now one thing is that of the past, I have to say that western democratic patterns and as well our old past traditions, these two their thought was the mixture of Western democratic patterns and as well as the our Indian tradition, means in the democratic traditions was also existed in our country also. In the ancient time, if you see that Sabha and Samiti, what was that? Sabha and Samiti was just as the democratic political institutions. Women were democratic, they had the democratic rights in the ancient scriptures, like the Rig Veda. They gave the instances from the Vedas. The Vedas, in the Vedas, the women have the free rights, lots of rights they have equal to the men, and moreover, these and as well as in the political democracy, we see republican form of the government in the plains of the Himalayas, where in the many of these states, Gautam and Mahavir, they belong to a republican form of the governments there. There was now they gave the instances and instances that they were inspired by our traditional liberal thoughts and as well as from the new Western thoughts, and wanted to be the persuade the people to follow these new lines and the new ways and the notion, because and many use the both these resources to fight for women rights, okay, and we can only give the illustration example here. We draw from the anti-sati campaigns led by Raja Ram Mohan. You know very well Raja Ram Mohan Rai, now he just a campaign against the sati or self-immolation system, and now he made the Lord William Bentinck he met there, and then after he persuaded him, and ultimately he got the success. In 1828, he founded the Brahm Samaj, or moreover, further the widow remarriage movement was started began in the Bombay Presidency, where the Ranade was one of the leading reformer. Okay, widow remarriage for that Ranade. He started in the Bombay area, and Jyotiba Phule's simultaneously attack on the caste and the gender discrimination. Now, Jyotiba Rao Phule, he now formed the Satya Sodhak Samaj. Now he struck on the very hard on the caste system and the gender discrimination here. And now, moreover, and from the Muslim society, Sir Shayad Ahmad Khan, he now performed a lot. He gave a slogans for the uh, for the westernization of the Muslim society. He now wanted English education, Western educations to be the introduced among the Muslim, so backward Muslim society. Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan. Now he led, like the Raja Ram Mohan Rai, led the Hindu society, Hindu reforms, and the Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan now uh, led the Muslim reforms movement. And moreover, the Mohan Rai attempts to reform the society, religion, and the status of women. Society, religion, status of women, and now a starting point of the 19th century social reform, or a decade before establishing Brahm Samaj in 1828. He established it. And Roy undertook the campaign against the sati, which was the first woman issues in our country. Sati Pratha. In the Sati system was the first day, and the Western now rationality and are the assertion of Indian traditionality. Now I said it. He was in favor of the Western or the traditions both. Both he made synthesized in his thoughts because Western. Why Western? He wanted. He knew that he without the removing these stigma from the society. Understand? The Indians could not united stand against the British. To prepare them against the British, against the colonial Raj, understand? Colonial Raj, Indians must have to be the united. That's why he now emphasis on which kind of the worship monotheism. Now he saw that now multi god system and idols worship is dividing the Indian society in the different sects. So that's why to unite them, there must be the one monotheism that will unite the society as a whole. Now, students, we are looking here for the next point. The widow remarriage movements in the Bombay, you have seen, and Roy undertook the campaign against the sati. You know that, and the idea represented the curious mixture of the Western. I have already mentioned. Both trends can be the located in the arching the context of response to the colonialism. Both context he, conservatism and the modernity. Western modern ideas or the conservative idea of India. These two will now, no doubt, will focus, and these two will make this two will now make the society better, prepare the society as a modern society. So we can see further the steps was taken. Both trains can be located over the Arkansas. Ram Mohan Rai thus attacked the practice of sati on the basis of the appeals of humanitarianism. He now gave the stress for the removing the sati system on the basis of the humanitarian and natural rights doctrines. He said that this is the natural rights to live. He gave the and as well as Hindu Shastras. He also gave the instances of the Hindu Shastra and gave moreover the deplorable unjust treatment of the Hindu upper caste widows was a major issue taken up by the social reformers. Now we see that Hindu upper caste women were not treated well, or this was the major issue for these reformers. And amongst them, the Ranade used the writings of the scholars. Ranade, uh, Mahadev Govind Ranade, he now used the writings of the scholars, writing of scholars such as Bishop Joseph Butler, Bishop Joseph Butler's writing, he was influenced by that writing, the Analogy of Religion. Bishop Joseph's work, Analogy of Religion, and the three sermons on human nature. Human dominated the moral philosophy and the syllabus of Bombay University. Bombay University in the 1816 means the Bombay University philosophy, subject philosophy was hugely influenced by the Bishop Joseph Butler and his writings, much of that. And at the same time, Ranade writing entitled Text of the Hindu Law. In the same way, the Ranade wrote the text of the Hindu's laws. According to that, Hindu laws on the lawlessness of the remarriage of widow. Now he emphasizes that remarriage of widow and Vedic authorities for widow marriage. Now he gave the Vedic authority of the widow remarriage. Now you know that many of the instances he gave. for the widow remarriage from the Vedic texts. Vedic, we know very well that there was no sati system in the ancient. Now, only in the Vedic text we can see that. In the Rig Veda, what was it? It was a very symbolic. What happens at the death of the husbands? What used to be the happen in the woman and on his just cremations, heaps of the wooden blocks of dry wooden piece of wooden was laid, and upon that the dead corpse of the man was put upon that, and or his wife had to come there, understand, and then after she laid down, she laid down beside him, dead body and dead corpse of her husband, and for a moment, after a few minutes, a mantra was recited by the Brahmins, and now some of the mantras to come her into this world, again join this world. A symbolic sati pratha was now practiced, and now as the by the recitation of the Brahmins mantra, she now rose and stood, and then again come and join the society. So this kind of the practice and instances we get from the Vedic Vedas. So now he gave Ranade gave many of the instances from the Vedas for the justification of the widow remarriage. He gave that, and Vedic authorities of the and elaborate the shastric sanction for the remarriage of the. He gave the lots of sanctions, lot of sanctions for the marriage. While Ranade and Mohan Roy belong to one kind of the 19th century upper caste, both of them belong to the upper caste. Understand? The next one was the Jyotiba Rao Phule. He belonged to the lower caste. Understand? And now he excluded caste, and his attack was the direct against the both caste and gender discrimination. Jyotiba Rao Phule, he struck upon the gender discrimination on the caste and the on the caste and gender discrimination, and he founded the, you know very well, Satya Sodhak Samaj, the organization he founded, and primarily emphasis on the truth seeking. Particularly, he emphasized that truth seeking on that. And Fule's first practical social reforms effort were to add two groups considered lowest in traditions: Brahmins culture, women, and untouchables. These were the his first efforts to be the done there. Okay, efforts were that. So students, the more lectures and the more lecture is still to be the in this topic. In the further class, I shall again upon the women's movement and women's rights movement till now, how gone and what extent they got, understand they are success to get their rights. We shall discuss even further. Okay, thank you very much.